Hey, comic book fans! Today we're talking about Dead Lucky. Now, it's been a minute since we've actually talked about this issue because a bunch of other stuff pretty much took the spotlight for a while. But we are finally talking about Dead Lucky issue 11. It's only this one and issue 12 to end the series, to end the entire thing. And if you remember where we left off on, it was in the middle of this massive battle that was going on between these android machines and the regular folk, and that was being caught in the crossfire, and this rebellion that was being led by one of Dead Lucky's former soldiers who she thought was dead but is actually alive and has powers like her. And how did they actually get these powers was a military led experiment that saved them from death when the helicopter crashed. Now they're end up here in this battle because they are both sides of the same coin. They both want the same thing, but going about it in very different ways. And before the androids and machines completely kill off everybody and more innocent civilians get hurt in the process, Dead Lucky sacrifices herself to pretty much short circuit destroy the androids in the vicinity, pretty much saving everybody. Now, she doesn't die in the process, but she does end up in the hospital in a semi-coma. While she is in the hospital, again with the semi-coma, lucky enough she's going to survive this, but there's a whole lot of details and gravity of the situation that's going to come crumbling down because of this. Because the city, it was quiet for a while. Dead Lucky was off doing missions for Marrow, the exact organization that she is trying to take down from the inside. While that is happening, one of Marrow's agents is being tortured by Pyro. One of her, the soldier himself that she thought was dead but ended up alive, and he is torturing her, and they're trying to get information out of her because he's the other side of the coin that Dead Lucky is on. He wants to take down Marrow, but he wants to do it the aggressive, bloody way, while Dead Lucky is trying to do it in a way where there's no casualties involved, and she will be able to expose those that are in power of Marrow to get them out of her city of San Francisco. Now, not the head of Marrow, right? He's not the head of Marrow, but he's pretty far up there in the rankings. This guy, he's been pretty much hiding out in his house. He's been controlling everything that's been happening, at least within the San Francisco part of Marrow, to try to take over and to try to, in his own way, make things better. But it's not the outcome that everybody, fears that's not going to happen. While that's happening, we get more insight on Dead Lucky herself, because throughout this series, these the soldiers, when she was in the military, they died, and she was the only survivor of this attack, right, of the crash and what happened. But it turns out that what she thought was ghosts, what we thought were these ghosts haunting her and giving her these powers, they are actually not ghosts. It's her regret. It's her, manifestation of her once alive unit. And that is, for me, if you're looking throughout the series and reading this, it kind of makes sense, but they really didn't spell it out for you. And it gives a different perspective on the overall series once you realize these aren't actually ghosts. They aren't actually there. It's figments of her imagination of who these people were in her head, her friends in her unit that was once alive but now is dead. And she has this guilt that they all died behind her. She feels like she should have died in the process, that she should have been along with them. And because she didn't, she's been carrying this in her head and her mental for all this time. And luckily, her friend that also died, fighting by her side, he is trying to give her closure, again within her mind, trying to give her a sense of, calm, trying to calm her trauma down so she can actually focus on those that are living, because she's so wrapped up those that are dead that those that are still living are going to end up in the same place, unfortunately. Now we are here with the mayor of San Francisco, and the mayor along with the guy that's heading of Mara, at least with the San Francisco part, and she told him that she's shutting this down because of this massive war, and that he did not tell her that he was unleashing these massive drones and machines into her city to pretty much battle and to control things. And so he pretty much took captive of her, and now is taking he has the androids and the machines destroying everything, and he's pretty much taking control. And all of this was being observed by the renegade, when they was observing this whole thing through a rifle, so they pretty much know what's going on and how it went down in the process. Lucky enough for Dead Lucky herself, she wakes up out of her coma, and she is given pretty much the 411 on everything that's going on right now. So she just came out of battle, was in the hospital recovering from what she had to go through, and now she has to hurry up back into battle because the capital is about to get taken over by Mara, and there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do about it. And so this ends with her going back into battle, having to do that. But I feel like this time is going to be different because she's going into it with a different mindset. She's not going into it with this guilt. She's not going into it with this same, mental capacity. Her mind is much more clearer, and I think that's going to show in battle. And that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.